Hi, everyone. My name is Alisa Hoffman, and I'm with Design Set Match, and we specialize in the Bay Area's tiny kitchens and baths. And tonight, we're going to talk about universal design in kitchens and baths that you can apply to all aspects of your home, no matter if you have a condo in San Francisco or you have a larger place in Hayward. It all works for everybody. So I also have this presentation. I'm going to be putting it on my website next week in smaller chunks because it's really a much larger presentation and I've squished it down a whole lot for tonight. So if you feel like you missed something, there will be more for you later. And some of my credentials, I have a BFA in interior design and architecture. I'm a universal design certified professional. I'm a certified living in place professional and an associate kitchen and bath designer. So one of the things with universal design is it has to be equitable use. It needs to be useful and marketable or resale to people with diverse abilities. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and read what's on the slide, and I'm gonna describe what is in this kitchen that makes it equitable use. And part of it is that it has an island, and you can walk all the way around this island, and people can use this island from the main cooking side or from the bar area seating side. And if you need to sit down, and maybe you can't get into a bar chair, maybe you're in a wheelchair, you can get over to the table. So part of it is making it feel like everyone is fully included in the room and in the activities. Nobody feels alienated. Another important thing about this is the tile on the back and the cabinets and the countertops. There's a big contrast between the three. So visually, it's easier to see what's going on when you're in a space. It needs to be flexible in the use. So it needs to accommodate a wide range of users. And when we're talking about universal design, I want to clarify this is not ADA. This is not the America Disabilities Act, because that is a law specifically for commercial spaces where universal design, it applies and overlaps with a lot of ADA, but because we can't always meet those requirements in a home, it is making it work for everybody. But it is also a wide range of age groups. So universal design applies to my child when she was 3, and it applies to my mom who's in her 70s, and it applies to me. It doesn't matter if you are in a wheelchair, use a walker, maybe you just have the flu. All of these things are going to apply. For flexibility, we want to make sure that everybody can use this space. So in this bathroom, for example, the faucet has a lever handle, which is on the top. And the reason why that's important is because a left-handed or a right-hand person can use it easily. But also, if you have arthritis, it has a lever, so you can use it with any part of your body, elbows, hands, wrist, to turn it on, turn it off, and adjust the temperature. We also have a bench that's folded up against the wall in this photo, but it folds down. So that way, if you do need to sit down, again, if you have the flu, it's easy to feel overwhelmed when you're in the shower and just kind of feel dizzy. You want to be safe. And part of that is having the controls near the bench. It is having the shampoo niche within reach of that bench. And it's also having a hand shower on a bar. So if you're down low or if you're tall, you could be a basketball player taking a shower in here. You could be a 3-year-old taking a shower in here and feel comfortable and feel like you have some sense of control and relaxation. It needs to be simple and intuitive. So regardless of your experience and knowledge, no room should be designed where you feel like you need to read a user's manual to use the toilet or the shower or any other part of it. So in this bathroom, it happens to be a family bathroom. And one of the things you're probably going to notice is the towel hooks over on the right-hand photo. There's a towel hook down low where a child can actually have some autonomy, feel independent, feel really good and proud about themselves. If they can put that back on, they can take it off. They don't have to cry for mom or dad. But there's also one at an adult height so everybody has something in this space to be able to work around it. Pressure balance controls are easier to use and more intuitive than thermostatic controls on showers, and that's over here. And the reason is you simply turn it up. It has one volume. You just get to your temperature and you're satisfied. While the other ones, you set your temperature and you set your volume separately. It's really nice that you can preset your temperature, but at the same time, it's not intuitive if you have a guest coming into your home. This photo also has a dark band across in the shower, and you're going to see that in most bathrooms. And the reason is it really helps with finding your equilibrium. If you are feeling sick, if you are feeling like you're going to pass out, finding that little bit of equilibrium visually will help you get enough balance to find the time to get to a bench and sit safely. You'll also notice that there's grab bars in here. Not every shower can be just a shower. So when you're stepping over a tub ledge, whether you're a toddler, a 3-year-old, or you're 90-something, or you're just me, grabbing onto that to help you get in and out when the tub bottom can be slick with the water or leftover soapy residue is really important. And again, keeping the shampoo niches within reach really helps everybody feel like they have control over their shower experience. Perceptible information, it doesn't matter what your abilities are. If you are sighted or not sighted, wear glasses, I'm wearing contacts today, or you have other things going on. It's making it, again, just regular knowledge. You know how to do it, and you're going to feel comfortable in this space. So for example, here, these 3 medicine cabinets, if we didn't have those knobs on those medicine cabinets, you wouldn't know they were cabinets. You would think they were just mirrors built into the wall. If we had done a touch system where you push it and it latches and it swings open, you would never know. So by having simple intuition, you can tell that there's a lot of storage in this small bathroom. Tolerance for error. Everybody makes mistakes. I've been known to put the milk jug in the cabinet, for example. So there's all kinds of unintended consequences that we can have. So we want to minimize our hazards whenever we're doing a design or thinking about kitchens and bathrooms. So in kitchens, really specifically, we want to make sure that we don't have appliances hitting each other. So in this one, the dishwasher is over on the right of the sink and the range is over to the left. But if we put that dishwasher to the left of the sink, we would end up having them hit doors because somebody was washing up and somebody was cooking, and there would be a lot of interference. And the same is true with refrigerators. A lot of times refrigerators get put in the way where it creates a hazard. So we want to be paying attention to those unconscious things that we're going to naturally do and make it easy to stay safe. So low physical effort, it can be just, with minimum fatigue. It can be as easy as twisting knobs or twisting cross handles, or it could be pulling things out to you or reaching back in. So when you're thinking about redesigning, the more you can pull towards you, the better. So as long as there's mechanisms that can handle the weight. So with the trash cans, for example, having them pull out, you can just swoop all your cuttings from the countertop or your cutting board right into your bins. And Lazy Susans are a really easy, inexpensive option in cabinetry to allow you to see everything that's going on. Find the tools that you need, whether it's a pot, a pan, a colander. Some people use them for pantry. I find that Lazy Susans usually work better for bowls and things of that nature for your cooking. So size and space and approach for use, make sure that you can actually get into a space. We have friends who are larger and we have friends who are smaller, and we want all of our friends to feel comfortable. This bathroom is a perfect example. It is a, this client actually is a friend, and her husband unfortunately passed away a year ago or so, but he had MS and he was in a quick decline into a wheelchair. So we needed to make this really tiny bathroom wheelchair accessible. And part of that was, yes, getting that space underneath the sink, but it was also making the vanity mirror here, making it tilt. And the reason why tilting works, yes, you can't put storage behind it, but you can be down low and see your whole self. You can be tall and you can see your whole self, and you can be in the middle. So anybody can grab the corner, bottom corner very easily and adjust it so you can see what you look like before you leave the house. In this case, we also put a medicine cabinet more within his reach. So it is to the side of that vanity, so he could pull his wheelchair to the side and access his charging toothbrush. So we were able to keep the bathroom decluttered and still fully usable. We want to make sure things are easy elements to remember. So these are your takeaways for today. But one of the things is this kitchen, I really want to point out that there's under cabinet lighting. And some people say, oh, I'm not doing a pretty backsplash, I don't need under cabinet lighting. Well, if you are doing a pretty backsplash, you definitely do need under cabinet lighting. But the most important reason for needing it is you can see how much light is on that countertop surface. And what that's great for is not cutting your fingers when you're cutting your food. So you don't cause a shadow casting onto your surface, and you can clearly see what you're doing. So things that you can do, doesn't matter if you are renting or doing a mini facelift in your home. You get cabinets that won't catch, cabinet pulls that don't catch on clothes. So make sure that the cabinet pulls go all the way back in here. A lot of cabinet pulls have an end or a thumb sticking out of them. They're really pretty, but they catch on pockets and they rip your clothes. You want high contrast colors if you can between your countertop and your lower cabinets so that you can clearly see the edge of that countertop. You want lever handles on your faucets. Makes it a lot easier to adjust everything.
Very good. Yeah, I'll handle it.
And you want to balance your visual space with solid colors and patterns. So this one here, it has a lot of pattern in the cabinet. It has a lot of pattern on this countertop, but we simplified it with a solid color tile on the back wall, and we simplified it with the wall cabinet. You want to keep controls in easy reach. So this is a microwave drawer. The controls are here. It just pops out, and you don't have to bend over to get into your microwave. And you also don't have a microwave that's too high where you might spill hot soup onto yourself when you're reheating. And if you can, it's not always possible, but if you can, get a countertop or a table that is lower, more at a table height in your kitchen. It's helpful for everybody, especially if you know, with COVID, we're all baking right now. This is a better angle for you to roll out your dough. In showers, we want to make sure that if you can, avoid a threshold, which is this one on the right. You can see this tile goes all the way through. There's no change in the tile. This was an art tile project, by the way, Patrick.
Thank you.
And the one on the left, it was a second story. We couldn't do a roll-in shower for this one. The framing costs were going to be too much, but we were able to do a high contrast between the floor and the shower pan, so you have a visual step over. You know you need to lift your leg high enough to move over that space. And of course, make sure everything is slip resistant. You want to have a texture on that floor so that way when things are wet, the bottom of your foot is wet, you don't slip and fall. Or even if you just have socks on, you don't want to slip and fall. You want to have flexibility of your space. So if you can have a hand shower and you have a bench, make sure you have a hook to pull that hand shower over to so you can actually set it down while you're on the bench. This client sent me a nice note a couple of weeks ago telling me how she thought it was silly to have this grab bar, bench, and hand shower when she first started talking to me about designing her bathroom, but how she was so glad she did it because she ended up having surgery and then she ended up having the flu, and she really needed this to be able to shower and feel human again, because showers just are rejuvenating. Here again, we want to keep mirrors tilted if we can. It allows it for generational use, multi-generational use. And levers on your faucets. This one, again, that's that first, the one I told you my client had MS. This faucet actually has a pull-out spray. So you want to be flexible and think about them. He needed to wash his hair in the sink so he wouldn't be cold while taking a shower because he took that long to wash his hair. Again, here we go. We want to make sure that things are easy. That's a push button. So the water's going to come out of the faucet, the tub spout. When you're ready to shower, you push the button. It doesn't take finger strength to be able to do that. And this shower here, when you see my longer slides, you'll actually see Ardo brick in the bathroom of this one. We have a beautiful hexagon floor. Sorry it got cut.
That's okay.
But we made visual obviousness here going on. So we have this hard border going through, and we have a different tile in the background of that shampoo niche. So when you don't have your contacts in, you're feeling kind of foggy, you can see where the niche actually is. And in other photos, you can tell this is a mirror. So it's a defogging mirror. So when you're in front of it, there's a very clear, distinct visual concept of what's going on because you don't have the backdrop. So you know where to put, what's going, you know you can't put your shampoo in that spot. We want to balance our lighting. So yes, you can do lighting just over your mirror, but you're probably going to get what I'm getting right now, which is I'm getting a shadow line under my neck. And if I were shaving, I would probably miss a lot in this area. So ideally you want to get lighting on both sides, but you also want to have lighting from above because it's going to get you lighting all the way around. And with LED lighting today, there are so many things out there that you can get, and I'm going to tell you this is what I always recommend. So this photo on the right actually has a mistake in it. The recessed light on the left, it's using 27K. 100K. K is for Kelvin temperature. And the one on the right is using 3400K. And you can tell the one on the left, the wall looks bluer, the lighting is cooler. And the one on the right, it's warmer gray and you can see the yellow in it. And what I recommend for everybody is to actually have 3000 Kelvin. Now, thankfully, these recessed lights that are in this project have a little switch that we can make adjustments very easily. So it's not a mistake that costs anybody money other than a trip to go up there, pull it down, move a switch. And it's as easy as a homeowner can do it. I did it in my own home because the same thing happened. But everybody's skin tone, doesn't matter who you are, what your nationality is. 3000K is what you really want to look for in LED lighting, whether it's a screw-in bulb or another type. So simply put, universal design is good design. So I want to know what questions I can answer for you.
Hi, I'm Cora. I have a question. Hold on one second. I'm trying to start my video here. Okay, sorry. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. So I have a few questions actually, and I actually have a question for Stephanie. I'm sorry I joined late, but later maybe I can ask her that. There's a few things that I'm actually interested in, so I don't want to take up all the time, but if you have a minute. One is, one of the previous presenters in this series was talking sort of about the function in the design process, right? And like how you're designing, really keeping in mind how people are using things. And that was really great to just know that how designers are considering that. And I see you again are being very thoughtful about that. And one of the things I had not heard before was that you mentioned was sort of designating function in kind of color, or like in the kitchen, and you said the cabinets were different from the counter, were different from the whatever. And so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that and how that sort of helps people as far as, is that just sort of so you have this sort of separation of like of ways that people are using this space, or I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So you want to try to have high contrast, because you know, as we get older, our eyesight changes. I've been wearing contacts and glasses since I was 10.
Yeah, me too.
So I can only imagine it getting worse, but with cataracts and everything else, that multiple myomas, all kinds of other things that happen,
Yeah.
it is really, you can get blotchy and blurry and you can't see well. So when you have high contrast, you can see the edge of that countertop really easily. And that's part of the same reason with that horizontal band in the shower. You want it to have contrast, so it's an easy thing to see, because I can't shower with contacts or glasses. I don't know if anybody else can, but either my contacts stick to my eyes and then I'm blinded differently, or my glasses are going to fog up. So you need to be able to do it in your less sighted state.
Thank you. And my second question kind of follows that up. I have my mother is getting on up in age and she's actually very independent, but thinking about moving forward, like, do you have like I don't know, like a checklist or recommended things to think about in a home or for people who are aging, as far as design elements that make things easier for them as they're, you know, just using their own personal space as they age?
I do, but it's not up yet, so I could have it up on my website in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I'll be sure. I know where you're at, Cora. So
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know where to find me. Yes, I would love to see that. And then, of course, since I am here at Metro Lighting, I am interested in anything you have to say about lighting. I was curious about what you were saying with the 2700K and 34. Like most of our light bulbs that we sell are 2700K. We do have people come in asking for 3,000. And we've had those before, and now we do have a couple of fixtures that have integrated LEDs that you can choose in a range, including 3,000. And I'm wondering, do you recommend 3,000 for the bathroom specifically because of like the color temperature, or just kind of in all lighting, that's where you're sort of seeing things go?
So in general, across the board, 3,000 is a nice, safe number. And in bedrooms is probably the only place I would err on the side of going warmer in the color, because we're all exposed to our computers and blue light. And so 27 is too cool. It's a lot like your computer light. And that's why it's, you know, we're so messed up on our circadian rhythms. So in the bedroom would be the only place I personally would recommend going warmer.
Okay. Okay. That totally makes sense.
But one thing I did forget to mention is you do want to have all your lighting on dimmers, because different times of day you can handle different amounts of light.
Yeah, we find it to be very personal, and some people are just more comfortable with warmer lighting and some people with cooler. And then also same thing, brightness. You know, most people are like, I want a nice soft light, but really bright. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, whenever I work with Cora, I almost always spec the brightest LED I can get in that, and then we can dim it down, because it's easier to dim it down than it is to get it higher up.
Yep.
Any other questions? I don't see any in the chat.
Alisa, can you show your email? So if people have some questions, you know, maybe they can reach you later.
Sure, my slide went backwards. Oh, there it is. Hold on a moment. I'll get it back up. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
So I do have another designer on my staff, so it's not just me. Any clients would be working with. Her name is Irma Harris-Horn. We work together as a team. And we've been doing kitchens and baths together. Well, we've known each other for 25 years, and we've been working together for at least 20 through different companies, and now she works with me here.
Great story.
Alisa, also, sorry, I have another question. Also, I'd be sort of curious to know, just sort of business-wise during this time of coronavirus and shelter in place and everything, sort of what do you see people doing with their homes now? Because like we had, you know, at first we were totally shut down. Nobody could do anything because our contractors couldn't work. And, you know, people were like, I can't pick up my lights. I don't have a roof and things like that. But now it seems like contractors are working more, so people are working back on their homes and on their projects, and maybe even more so because they have to spend a lot more time in their home. So I'm kind of wondering what you're seeing, and maybe also Stephanie too, as what people are asking about for their homes right now. because we're always interested in that being in that, you know, line. I'm sure art tile is as well.
Well, the first hiccup right now is we're doing a lot of e-design. So we are doing Zoom calls with all of our clients throughout multiple weeks in making selections and trying to do a lot virtually. You can see behind me, I have most of our sample library, and I use art tile and others to supplement when I find something online and I go, okay, I need to get a sample to a client because we can only do color so well on the computer.
Right, of course.
So I'm personally wiping down and sanitizing every sample I get, and I'm dropping it off on their front porch. And sometimes we're doing it via Zoom where they look at the samples and I've already looked at them, or I get a second set so I can look at them. And sometimes I had one client at the beginning of COVID, we would put the samples out on her front porch. She went up and looked at them, and then she came back down, and I went up and looked at them and came back down, and we socially distanced the pulling it together part. And during construction, people need to know that if they're living in their homes during construction, during a shelter in place, we can do it safely, but it is going to cost you 5 to 10% more depending on the scope of your project, because if you're living in your home, the requirement not only is all the masks, the PPE, everything of that nature, it is also at the end of the workday, the contractors need to come through and wipe down with sanitizer everything they touched from the front door to the work area.
Wow, okay.
And so if you're not living in your home during your construction, you don't have that cost. So if you're able to go to a family member's house, I definitely recommend that. I don't know if I fully answered your question, Cora.
Yeah, no, you did. I mean, I'm just curious about what people are coming across because, you know, we're seeing people come in now, I guess, that are sort of, some people are starting new projects, but also people who are finishing things, or also people just now feel like, oh, I can work on my house again, or, oh, now I'm excited to work on my house because I need to be at home. So I was just wondering how you were seeing that manifest in your business as well.
So I think there's one thing to look forward to, in addition to bidet seats being really a hot item right now. They actually do save a lot of energy and water on the waste recycling end of paper and bio waste. But I think the next biggest thing to look for is people are going to start putting sinks in the front, in the room that you walk into, the first thing in the house. Or if they drive into their garage, they're going to have a sink right there so they can come home from work, wash off whatever they have touched from their workday before they enter their home. Mm-hmm. It hasn't happened yet in the projects I've been working on, but I can see that happening soon.
Yeah, or a shower entry. Just walk right through.
A biohazard unit.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a good, thanks for asking, Cora. What we're seeing at Art Tile and in Sacramento in our store, like they're very different clientele actually, but down here in Oakland, our business prior to COVID would have been a lot of smaller projects in a house. And now most of our business is where somebody can get out of their house. So they're not really doing a lot of work when they're living in the house yet, in terms of work. And then in terms of, there's a lot of design change going on in what they're doing. And they're making their, what we're seeing is that the kitchen and the, you know, predominantly open plans, but they're becoming multi-purpose. So everybody's building, how do you, at the moment, a lot of people are using their island as an office, right, and the kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. And they're trying to figure out how to incorporate an office that's separate to their, so we're seeing a lot of that. And it's, the good part of it is that it makes the kitchen design a bit more complex and interesting, which we like. And then because you have to put in, you know, you have to get your office space to work with it, and you don't want to be, well, I can speak for myself. When I'm working, I don't like to be looking at dirty dishes or anything. Right? So my modus operandi is to cover the dishes, not to wash them.
And it's the reverse too, Patrick. It's having that office space and being able to cover it without having to clear your whole space and start your work day
Right.
half an hour later.
I need to work on that, Alyssa.
Yeah, and there's also touchless faucets. So there's faucets that you used to be able to just touch with the back of your hand, and now they've got a sensor on them, so you can just swipe your hand underneath it and never touch your faucet. Those are definitely becoming more affordable, and so are bidet seats, which is perfect for this timing. So that way, when we have another toilet paper shortage, and when you've got just gross on your hands, you can just go straight for it.
Nice.
Great.
Hey, Alyssa,
There's
this is
Andrea.
Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi. I just wanted to say that this was really good. I really enjoyed the presentation. It was very informational. So thank you for doing that. And thank you, Cora, for asking all the questions.
And Andrea, the project that you're working on with me, it has started construction.
Oh, cool. I'd love to see pictures when it's done.
Yeah.
Lovely. I want pictures too. Stephanie, do you want to say something?
Stephanie, real quick, how to get in touch with her or somebody from your company about custom tile?
Yeah, so I'm S Morgan, Morgan, at arto.com.
Okay.
And yeah, feel free, you want my phone number, I'd be happy to give that to you either way, or we could Zoom, whatever you want. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Sorry I missed the very beginning, but I liked what I saw. Thanks.
Good.
And I recorded too, if you want to.
Oh, right. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. It's 7 o'clock. Patrick, do you want to
Okay.
do something to end?
Close up.
I enjoy these every time, it's not, feels like at the end of the day, do we want to get doing this? But I really do enjoy these, and I appreciate what we're, at our tile, what we've really learned is how strong our community is. And for somebody that grew up 7,000 miles away to come over here and to be part of the community, it's a good thing. And I think that's what's going to really help us through the next year or so, is that we're working together and we're figuring out how to navigate this in a safe manner. What I will just say briefly, my biggest experience of the last couple of months, and the biggest learning for me, is I got very nervous to how I was going to talk to my employees, and I'm going to use a bad word here, but make them come into work. Right? And what I learned was that that's the total wrong approach. It's how do we create a safe environment that they feel comfortable. Everybody wants to be there. All our customers want to be there. But how do we create a safe environment? And that's what we spend our time on, really trying to create that now, so that our priorities are that our employees feel safe, number one. Number two, that our customers feel safe. And then number three, that our business can survive this and thrive. And thankfully, we live in a place where the market is supporting local businesses that do that. And, I'm just immensely grateful that I'm part of that community. Yeah, so I want to just thank everybody in that regard.
Thank you for having us, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Unfortunately, I have one employee here that's going to rip me now later. I'm joking, Andrea.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, guys. I have Stephanie. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Melissa,
Thank
as
you for
always,
bringing it back to community all the time, Patrick, and just bringing it back to what's important. I appreciate that.
what we do is we provide product knowledge and service, right? We understand what we sell, and then we do our best to get that to you in the best way. And we try to create a good environment for that. Don't always succeed, but I guarantee you we keep trying.
Likewise.
We appreciate it. And Alyssa, thank you so much. I found that great. I really enjoyed that.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank
Thanks.
you. We'll see you next month.
Yeah.
We'll see you next
Thank
month.
you, Deanna.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Take care now.
Mhm.